morning. I want to go over my culture bag with you. And the first thing that you would see about me and that you see about my culture bag is that it's white. And I have a picture here of me, and you can see my gender. I've been socialized in a society, in a country, where I have benefited from the privilege and power with being both white and male. Like Tom Wolfe, the author, who's pictured here, I am an old Southern white guy. I was raised in Columbia, South Carolina in the 1960s and 70s, and the can of starch reflects the culture and time in which I was reared. I can always remember my father wearing a suit and a tie and a starch shirt, and I can often be found around the office wearing a starch shirt, tie, and jacket. Nieto and Bodie, as well as Robin DiAngelo and White Fragility, stress that we are all imbued with biases and racism because we've been socialized in a country that is steeped in racism. It is the waters in which we swim. And because I was raised in the South in the 1960s and 70s, I have to be diligent, reflective, and intentional in overcoming the implicit biases that were part of that enculturation process. If you were to see me outside of work, I might be sporting a baseball cap, and the hat to me just really reflects that I'm American, that culture, that greater culture. I can remember my roommate in London telling me that it was always easy to pick out the people from the U.S. because they were wearing baseball hats. It also reflects the value that the culture that I was raised in placed on athletics and team sports. And that culture is something that I have shared with my children. For example, my daughter plays golf for her high school team, and I have attempted to guide her towards focusing on the big picture of the benefits of being on a team. For example, competing and doing your best job, what it means to be a good teammate, and not the wins and losses. The hat also represents my alma mater, University of Tennessee, which is important because education has really been a tremendous force in my life. And I have been immersed in the culture of academia for more than 30 years. Inside of the bag, I have a penny. Okay. This penny represents the culture of my home and my family life. Both of my parents came from very poor families, and they taught me the value of education and hard work. I have a picture of a sandwich. Food is a big part of our culture, and a home-cooked meal in my family was a sandwich because you didn't know if mom and dad were going to be home to make dinner because they were at work. I also have a book in here. The book represents the culture that I entered in 1982 when I started college, and the culture that surrounds a liberal arts education, which was instrumental in shaping who I am today and who I'm still becoming. A culture that continually emphasizes and causes me to question everything around me. I also have small flute and a yo-yo that represent the 1970s, which were really my formative years, and the music of the 1970s, or just music in general, really. I like all music, but that's a big part of my culture. If I was to summarize that music in that time, I would summarize it as optimistic, hopeful, focused on harmony both in the music and in life. I also have a picture of the Bible. The Bible represents the religion of my upbringing, and which still informs who I am today and my life today. And then finally, I have a picture that says implicit biases on it. You won't see these biases in racism that I mentioned before, but again, those are baked into me as a result of the culture that I grew up in. Those are things that I'm constantly working to overcome. So that's just a quick snapshot of my culture bag and my culture, and I look forward to reviewing and watching your culture bags as well.